The story of ancient America is not what most textbooks still try to push. Every year, new excavations and dating methods cut deeper into the past, and what we find doesn't fit the tidy timeline that says complex civilization in the Americas only began a few thousand years ago. We're talking structures older than the pyramids, agriculture predating Mesopotamia, and cultural continuities so long-lived that modern tribes still preserve fragments of knowledge stretching back before recorded history. This isn't about fantasy or exaggeration. It's about evidence that challenges the comfortable version of history and forces us to reconsider who built the ancient world and how far back their story truly goes. If you're here because you value real data, real archaeology, and serious analysis, then you're in the right place. Let's get to work. One key idea, really, is recognizing that the age of early American settlements is not just a minor correction. It's a complete timeline shift. Sites like Monteverde in Chile, which are older than 14,000 years, were once dismissed as outliers. Today, they've become anchors, proving that humans reached the Americas far earlier than those classic Clovis first theories ever allowed. When a settlement contains preserved wooden structures, medicinal plants transported from distant regions, and evidence of cooperative hunting, well, you're not looking at scattered wanderers. You're looking at a society with planning, knowledge, and continuity. Anyone studying early civilizations can really apply this understanding by challenging the isolated tribe stereotype and replacing it with a context of networks, trade routes, and cultural systems that existed long before ice melted off the northern continent. Another important concept is recognizing how the earliest engineers of the Americas worked with landscape instead of fighting against it. Look at Poverty Point in Louisiana, built around 3,700 years ago, but almost certainly developed from older traditions. The geometric earthworks are massive, complex, and aligned with astronomical patterns. These aren't random mounds thrown up by unorganized groups. They reflect large-scale labor organization and long-term occupation. Anyone interested in ancient engineering or survival planning can study how these societies used local resources, soil composition, water flow, and star patterns to build structures that still hold shape thousands of years later. The practical takeaway is simple. Long-term survival requires working with the land's natural strengths, not forcing construction methods imported from somewhere else. A third point worth understanding is the role of early agriculture and selective cultivation in shaping society. Long before the textbook rise of agriculture in the Near East, people in the Americas were managing landscapes, selectively harvesting and domesticating plants like squash, beans, maize, and cotton. The real significance here is the timeline. These crops didn't appear suddenly. They represent thousands of years of experimentation and environmental observation. If you want a practical application, well, you should study these ancestral cultivation strategies to understand resilience agriculture, planting species that really thrive in specific climates, rotating foods for soil health, and developing food security systems that aren't dependent on heavy machinery. Survivalists today actually apply the same principles by working with hardy native plants rather than imported seeds that simply can't withstand local conditions. We also need to talk about monumental sites that honestly push the boundaries of accepted dates. Caral in Peru, which is roughly 5,000 years old, stands as a fully developed urban centre with plazas, pyramids and water management systems. But what matters is not just the date. It's the fact that Caral shows no signs of being the first attempt at such complexity. It's already mature in design, which, implies predecessors that may not yet be discovered. When analysing ancient societies, historians can use this mindset. Whenever you find a culture that's suddenly well organised, it usually means earlier phases are missing, not that they didn't exist. Finally, we should acknowledge the deep time of oral tradition. Many Native American nations maintain origin stories that describe landscapes as they appeared more than 10,000 years ago, complete with glacial features that, interestingly, match geological records. Oral tradition is not mythology, it's an archive. Anyone researching long-term history should treat these stories as data points, cross-reference them with environmental changes, and integrate them into broader historical narratives. What all of this shows is that the Americas hold some of the oldest and most continuous civilizations on Earth, shaped by adaptation, observation, and survival over time spans longer than most academic models have accepted. The value for today's historian or survival enthusiast is clear. The past becomes a manual. Whether you're studying resilient settlement planning, long-term agriculture, or cultural continuity, these ancient societies provide models that work because they survived every climate shift humans have faced. If you want more videos that peel back the layers of history and bring the truth to the surface, make sure you subscribe to History Reborn Alive, hit the like button, and share this with others who care about real history.